Hello, loves. Janine Brown of JTB Love Ministry, and welcome back to my channel. Now, if this is the first time to my channel, please feel free to share, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you will be notified of all future teachings. Thank you for helping me spread the truth of God's Word to a lost and dying world. Now, I'm coming to you from the Love Store gift shop here at Arizona Mills Mall. Please support us. Father God will bless you for it, okay? Because you're going to help us to expand here in the mall. It's a mile around, and we're going to open up another kiosk in one of the other neighborhoods. So if you could bless us with a love gift by going to our gift shop at lovestoregiftshop.com and buying anything, no matter what the amount, we appreciate it and God bless you. Now let's talk about it. Today's teaching is Jesus telling us to leave the church building. Now, Jesus told us in Matthew 24:4, quote, take heed that no one deceives you. And at 1 Peter 5, verse 8, to quote, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour, end quote. With all these pastors being exposed, whether in a mega church or a small church, it causes me to ask, is Babylon the church building? Is Jesus warning us to leave? And I heard another voice from heaven saying, quote, come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached to heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities, end quote. And that's Revelation 17:4. The reference to Babylon in the Bible is a warning from God to not take part in the sins of this world. But can this also mean the church? Because today you cannot tell the church from the world. The church looks just like the world. The church is weak, silent, and pretty much useless to me. It's filled with pagan traditions, doctrines of demons, and traditions of men. In Christianity, the term Babylon has many meanings. It can mean the Catholic Church, the world, governments, businesses, and yes, religions also. Look at California. So many acclaimed and famous pastors, Greg Laurie, David Jeremiah, John MacArthur, Frederick K.C. Price, who founded Crenshaw Christian Center. There's Andy Wood of the largest church, Saddleback Church. And 25 out of the 100 largest congregations are in California. But Californians keep putting a devil back in office. Gavin Newsom, who pushes and passes the most evil, heinous laws in the nation. And these mega pastors have been preaching over 40 years there in California. Begs you to ask, what have they been doing for 40 years when you see the deterioration of California? We've been talking about the mega churches and all their apostasy, itching ears, teachings, homosexuality, pornography, adultery, pedophilia practiced by church leadership that Jesus is exposing. But the same thing is going on in smaller churches too. There's a video channel called Dawson Speaks that exposes a lot of these smaller churches and their leadership. In fact, there was one that Dawson talked about, it was about a month, 6 weeks ago, about a pastor and his wife in Tennessee that had marriage counseling and couple counseling for the church. And they also had one of the church members who was an anger management counselor. One day, the church member that was the anger management counselor came over to the pastor's home. The pastor wasn't there, sat there, talked to the wife, said she wanted to talk to both her and the pastor when he got back home. When the pastor got back home, guess what? She shot him 3 times. And when the first lady, his wife, bent down to help him, she shot her too. Fortunately, it was just in the arm and she had a minor flesh wound. Why? Because the pastor was messing with her. And she was the anger management counselor for their couples and marriage groups. Girls, boys, men, women, whoever's listening to this, it's terrible out there. The church is in a bad state. And Christ cannot come back until the church is without spot or wrinkle and blameless. And that's not the church today. In fact, the church is not the bride of Christ. That's another lie of the church. And if you want information as to why it is not the bride of Christ, just check out my video in the description box below. It's got almost 6,000 views. Mark 7, verse 13 says, quote, they had exalted their own tradition above God's word, thereby making the word of God of no effect in their own lives, end quote. But what's going on in these churches is nothing new and has been going on for eons. But with all the technology today, the social media, it's hard to keep the apostasy and wickedness hidden and from reaching the whole world in seconds. Jesus said in the last days in Daniel 12:4, quote, but you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase, end quote. In the Bible, Babylon is portrayed as a wicked city and a symbol of evil that is in opposition to God's commands. It is also described as a human system of religion that is man-centered and based on the traditions and authority of men rather than God. Sounds like the church too. Other characteristics of Babylon are idolatry, harlots, whores, prostitutes. Sounds like the church today too. That's the church system today, wouldn't you agree? Babylon is a symbol of the enemies of God and his people, and as Ezekiel 34:10 says, quote, I now consider these shepherds my enemies, and I will hold them responsible for what has happened to my flock. I will take away their right to feed the flock, and I will stop them from feeding themselves. I will rescue my flock from their mouths. The sheep will no longer be their prey. And so we see today, and especially since COVID, many believers have left the church building and are choosing to seek out online ministries and home churches. How home churches are on the rise and are growing rapidly. And in the earliest days of the church regularly met in homes. Since 2015, mega churches have grown by 34%, but as the leadership in these church buildings continues to be exposed and persecution of Christians increase in these last days, I believe we will begin to witness a rapid decline of the church building as believers choose to once again meet at homes, just like the early churches. What has been will be again. Ecclesiastes 1:9, quote, and this is in the New Living Translation, history merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. God bless you and have a safe and amazing weekend.